sun is racing.
Welcome, race fans, to another episode of the Rubbin' Is Racing Daily Fantasy NASCAR Show. We are in week 2 of the chase at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the Bad Boy Off-Road 300 at Loudon, New Hampshire.
The Magic Mile is a flat 1-mile speedway known for short track tempers. There is a clear preferred groove, and these drivers will not be afraid to move each other out of the way to get that preferred real estate.
In the last 8 races here, the winner has only come from the top 5 once, which was Kyle Busch when he started from the 4th position.
And temperature should be in the low 70s with a 20% chance of precipitation, but that shouldn't cause many issues. We should be racing at 2 p.m. Eastern on NBC Sports Network. And with that said, let's get into the racing action this week. It's time for the Burnin' Rubber picks. Liehr, do the honors.
Bad boy burning rubber, baby!
Lear's a little excited. Adrian, go ahead and kick us off.
I love that excitement. All right, guys, to start off the Burning Rubber segment this week, I'm going to roll with someone I haven't rolled with probably since Martinsville. I'm going to take Joey Logano in the number 22 Pennzoil Ford. This guy just seems to be hot at the right time. I mean, he finished runner-up last weekend. Obviously, he's feeling that nice momentum already after starting off the chase well. He's only 9,600, which is a nice pace when you have 10K that you really want to play. You can, get away with playing Joey Logano at this price. With him starting in the 15th spot, he's going to have a great chance for place differential because I definitely see Logano being a top 5 car on Sunday. I definitely see that plus 10 place differential as a good buffer to help his salary pay off. He has 16 starts here at Loudon. That's resulted in 2 wins, 6 top 5s, 8 top 10s, and his last 4 finishes at Loudon all came in the top 4. He finished 1st, 4th, 3rd, and 3rd. He very could well be one of the top plays on Sunday, and he's not even above 10K, so he's going to save you on the bottom end of your rosters. And also to kind of touch on the last 4 finishes being inside the top 4, he probably would have had 5 if it wasn't for Morgan Shepherd taking him out while he was leading in the 2014 race here. So the guy has just been really consistent of late at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and that's what I'm kind of looking for, consistency, and someone who's shown me that they have been successful here over the past few years, because recent trends are really what's most important in this sport. And with a track that's, so unique like New Hampshire Motor Speedway, with it being a flat, short track, we don't have a lot of those other than Richmond. And we all know how good Joey Logano is at Richmond. I just see it being a great play. And, like I said, with the momentum coming off the 2nd place finish last week, I just see everything, going the right way for the 22 team. And the ball's in their court. They're ready to just ease their way into the 2nd round so they can go fight for this championship.
Yeah, I hate to disagree with you there, Adrian, but I do because all of those races that he's finished within the top 4 in the last 4, he's all started in the top 10. So this week, he's not even going to be starting the top 10. He's starting 15th. And the last time he started above the 10th spot was back in 2013, and he finished 40th. And I know that with the recent history there, he's done obviously well here at New Hampshire, but I like other guys this week.
I'm kind of torn. I really like both of your arguments here. I think the problem is these Penske cars are off a little bit, but at the same time, Adrian's just right that with the place differential, he doesn't even need to lead laps as long as he gets near the front, which is what he does historically here. As long as that happens, you're going to want him. And at that $9,600 price tag, it's really interesting, especially since he gets much greater place differential than other cars like Jimmy Johnson at $9,500. I think it's a better play, but Liehr, you're just right too. Those cars have looked a little off. I paid attention to practice too, and happy hour practice. If they look good there, make them a play. If not, I'm going to side with Liehr. Liehr, who do you have to burn some rubber this week, buddy?
I mean, is there any question or doubt who I'm rolling with this week? I'm going with the hottest guy, the hottest team on the circuit. I'm rolling with my boy, Martin Truex Jr., number 78. He's going to go and do back-to-back in the 2nd week of the chase. Just as I predicted last week, Truex and the 78 Furniture Row team rose to the top to take down the victory last week. They were just on fire, and without a doubt, the team to beat again this week in New Hampshire. Truex will start from the 2nd spot this weekend, and this summer at the New Hampshire 301, he started 3rd and led 123 laps, and will duplicate that effort this weekend, but he'll also exceed those laps led, I think, and be a huge dominator again this weekend. He's raced here 21 times. He's got 3 top 5s, 7 top 10s, but he's got, again, 0 wins like he did last week at Chicagoland. We're going to buck that trend this week, and he's going to get his first victory here at New Hampshire. But this car's fast. I mean, top 5 in the first practice, qualified second today. They've just got all the momentum right now in the Sprint Cup. In the last 3 races, he's finished first, third, and first. And this sport's all about momentum, boys, and that team just got it right now. And when he started in the top 5, he's led a ton of laps here at Loudon. So just go back and look at the history, and it'll tell you everything that you need to know with him starting in the top 5. His cost this week is, he's just because of the way that he's been, he's above 10,000. He's 10,400. But he's going to be a must-own again this weekend, and you're going to have him to take down that GPP. Another thing, reason why he's going to win is because I'm wearing the same exact shirt that I wore last week, and he won. Wearing the same exact hat. And also, too, I'm wearing the same exact shirt when we got my picture taken with Truex Jr. So it's just a sign, folks. Just believe me when I say Rain Man says it's happening again, and it's going to happen.
Oh, Liehr, I love you, man. And if you keep your fandom of Martin Truex up, you're probably going to get a restraining order issued against you. It's a little strong love there, brother. Little strong. No, but it's for the right reasons, at least for DFS purposes. I'm in agreement, man. He's going to lead a lot of laps here. That car is fast. He's comfortable driving here. It's just the right play, and you're going to need to figure out the way to build lineups around him. If you're not on Truex, you don't like money, is my opinion.
All I really need to say is you're an absolute joke as a DFS player if you're not starting every single lineup with Martin Truex Jr. I mean,
not every. Come on.
Literally the best driver. I mean, no, literally you start. I mean, of course you're gonna have some Truex fades, but there's no one hotter. That team is on an entirely different level than everyone else. I mean, Kevin Harvick and that team are struggling, but you do not see the 78 team showing up to the track struggling to find speed and to find the handling. That team shows up every week, and they're on it. I'm sorry. This is my pick to win the race. I'm right there with Jamie. I don't think he's being or anything like that. I literally think that the only way that you're gonna, take down these big GPPs is if you have Truex, because he's gonna go out there and rack up the lap sled. Because we'll talk about it a bit later, but I don't see anyone standing in his way of getting up to the front. And look for Clayton Hughes to say new leader 78 pretty early on in this one.
Well, the other crazy part too, man, is Poppa and I were talking about it. Is you've got 150 lap-led points that are up for Dominator, plus 75 points for fastest laps, and that's a lot of points up for grabs. And I mean, it could be completely one-sided, which I think it's going to be. And I think it's all going to go to the 78 team.
Fair enough. I don't have it being a one-sided affair. I have it being between 2 cars, and the second car I have it being between is my burner rubber pick and Matt Kenseth at 10,100. He's qualified 8th, and he's won the last 2 races here. Since 2013, he has only 1 race outside of the top 10 and 5 top 6 finishes or better, including the 3 wins. Fading Kenseth is a foolish mistake. He's in the same JGR Allied equipment that Martin Truex is in that Furniture Row racing car, and I have them being right behind each other. And if something goes wrong with Truex, like we've seen dozens of times this year in the pits, a speeding penalty, like they not get a tire on right, that's where Kenseth is going to take the action. But I don't even think you need him to win or to lead laps to get there. Just 8th to 2nd will get him enough points if you're building him with Truex builds and you think that he's going to follow behind Truex. What are your guys' thoughts on Kenseth? Because he's really expensive.
Yeah, then that's exactly why I'm not playing Matt Kenseth this week. If this price tag, I'm going Joey Logano, I'm going Jimmy Johnson. I'm even reaching down for guys like Chase Elliott. I mean, I don't see anything. I mean, I understand that he has great track history here. But as far as like the way that team has been running, the past few weeks, I don't see anything that particularly stands out to me that says he's going to be a better or faster car than Chase Elliott starting 2 positions behind him. Matt Kenseth wasn't the one who, nearly won the race and was leading with 10 to go last week. That was Chase. So I'm definitely going to save the money there and go with guys like Chase Elliott or Logano and Johnson, guys like that. Like I said, of course I'll have some exposure to Matt Kenseth, But with the way I'm going, building all these lineups with Martin Truex Jr., it really is just not that feasible to play Matt Kenseth, because if I'm going to pair Truex with another guy above 10K, I'm going to pair him with Kevin Harvick, who absolutely had a horrible qualifying effort. I mean, that team was searching.
Yeah, as far as Matt Kenseth for me, I'm definitely going to have some exposure to Kenseth. This guy's won this race 3 times out of his whole career, but those 3 wins have come in the last 6 races that he's had here. So he's won 50% of the last 6 races that he's won here. And most of those too with his laps led. He's led 305 laps in his career here, but 200 of those have come in those 6 races. So I know the last 2 that he won here, he's started out between the teens, 13th and 18th. But with this week, with him starting in the top 10, he's definitely somebody you're going to have exposure to. And I like, Joe Gibbs here. Obviously being on Truex, but I like the Matt Kenseth Truex combination to start your lineups with for sure.
Yeah, so it sounds like a split vote. Like Adrian sounds like you're playing Kenseth when you're not playing Truex, and Liehr's gonna sprinkle him a couple times, and I'm probably pairing the 2 more than either one of you. So interesting takes, guys. But as you can tell, we want to spend up for guys this week again, and a lot of the ancillary guys that we're using, even if you're not on 2-stud or 3-stud approach this week, are expensive guys that you want to have for place differential. So we're going to need to save some money value-wise. Adrian, who do you have for us to save some money?
Guys, I'm going to take a driver who has the greatest opportunity that probably any stock car driver has had since Chase Elliott stepped into the 24. I'm going to take his teammate, Alex Bowman, in the number 88. And, I feel like they're trending in the right direction. Hendrick Motorsports as a whole has been just showing up to the track, ever since Chicagoland. They showed up to the track with speed and race-ready speed, and that was evident by Casey Kane running in the top 10 and actually having out the race. I just feel like Hendrick Motorsports is back, and I don't think that's going to stop. I think that's going to trickle down all the way to the 88 team. And, with that team having so many supporters like Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr., they're just there to cheer them on. I feel like they have all the support in the world that they need. And with him starting in the 18th position, he is only 7,700. So you're saving a little bit of money, and you're going to still get that Hendrick Motorsports equipment that we all see is so fast. And also, a little bit of place differential opportunity from the 18th starting spot for a Hendrick Motorsports car. And they are just, I feel like they're ready. They're right there. So, being a top 10 team, the 88 team has kind of been struggling over the past few months, and, they've been running around a top 15 team. But honestly, every that has stepped into this 88 car, and, over the course of the 2016 season, he's had the potential for a top 10. He was running 9th at the earlier race here at New Hampshire until he got into Kurt Busch and had to pit for a flat tire. And then you look at Michigan, and the car broke, at the very start of the race. And then you look back to Chicagoland last week, and he had 46 fantasy points on DraftKings. He started 17th, and he finished 10th. He had 6 laps led and 6 fastest laps. And, Jane kind of hinted on where those dominator points are going to come from. You don't really expect to get them from those guys that you're paying 7-something for. So it's kind of surprising. It's kind of nice to get some kind of contribution from those guys. And this is a guy that I think is going to make the most of his opportunity. I think he's going to be a decent sneaker play as well. I don't think a lot of people are going to play Alex Bowman. I just think people are going to spend the money elsewhere. And I feel like if Alex Bowman can have a decent day, this is where you're really going to get on a nice island in these GPP formats. And I definitely understand at his mid-tier cost for a value guy, it may not be someone that you're going to play a lot because he kind of hinders the rest of what you want to do. But it's just the right play. Is like if you're kind of going for that middle tier stack, if you're not going to pair 2 10Ks together, then you're going to take Truex and Johnson and then have some, mid-tier perfect plug and play. And like I said, the 88 is just going to have a great weekend. I mean, the Magic Mile is going to pay off for those guys.
Yeah, I definitely like your analysis there, AW. As far as Bowman goes, he's gone down in salary too, consistently since he's been in it. But, he's gone down $200 every single time. And this week he's even $200 cheaper than he was last week. And he scored 46 points, like you said. So, I know that Hendrick has been coming to these races with their best equipment available because they want to get the championship as well. But with the 88 team not in the running for the championship, it's one of those experimental things. I think with Bowman, but a great opportunity, like you said, for this kid to get his name out there. And he's got the equipment, so he doesn't have the excuse of not having the equipment. Now it boils down to his talent and doing all the work. So. But will I have some exposure on Bowman? Yeah, it'll be very minimal just because I'm kind of going with the higher, the cream of the crop guys, and then some pump plays, and not too many of the middle tier guys this week. More power to you, Bowman.
Yeah, dude, the Bowman play is really interesting because a lot of people aren't going to be on it. And I think Adrian's right there. I think also his salary being a little more expensive is what's going to keep people's ownership down. I just don't know, man. You're right. He has had good finishes and has the potential to do it. It's just not a place I've been putting in my lineups, which is why he's a good play. I totally understand where your head's at there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're not playing him, it gets off.
Yeah. All right, Liehr, who do you have for us for some value, man?
My value guy this week, I'm going to be rolling with the Biff, Greg Biffle. He's been a nice fantasy play off and on this year. We seem to talk about him quite a bit in this show, but it's just because, he's just been one of those guys that he can really give you the opportunity to get those place differential points. But this week he's rolling off in the 32nd starting position, and with the Roush Fenway guys where they're starting at, they're starting kind of a little bit back in the field this week. But his history here is really, really good, fellas. He's got 28 starts. He's got 8 top 5s, 11 top 10s, and he's got 1 win here back in 2008. I'm really focusing here on with the Biff is his recent place differential domination here at Loudon. And I'm going to break some races down here for you. So there are 6 races that I really want you guys to look at and I want to discuss here. I will start with the year, the starting position, and then the finish. So in 2010, he started 34th and finished 16th. 2013, 22nd, finished 15th. 2014, both races in 2014, he started 27th, finished 15th. Started 26th and started 16th. 2015, he started 25th and finished 4th. And then this last race here at the New Hampshire 301 in July, he started 28th and finished 5th. So with a guy at $7,200 with his starting position, it's hard to find anybody with his potential for place differential. He will be a key component to getting points this week and you scoring major points for your GPP lineups. I am all about the Greg Biffle this week and him being my place differential guy. And I'm even going to put this out there on the table as well. If he gets a top 10 finish this week, and if you've been watching our shows, you know that I've got that SpongeBob SquarePants signed Greg Biffle car. If he gets a top 10 this week, I will send that car to all of our viewers that either comment,
one of our viewers,
and they have to like the show.
I think you mean one of our viewers. You don't have enough to send them to all of the viewers.
Well, we could cut the car and we get a sawzall and just cut the car.
That's not what I meant, boys. I meant if you comment on the show and you like the show, I will send that to one lucky person that does both of those.
There you go. It just sounded like that was going to get really expensive for you, and I was
just really excited because I'm really excited about Greg Biffle this week.
There's good reason to be excited about Biffle, even Bain. Even Stenhouse, they all qualified really crappy. Problem is this, is I'm not sure Roush Fenway, as much as I love Roush Fenway Racing, is on the same page as all the other cars. And that's what I'm really concerned about, is that it seems to me that they're just way behind, and I don't know that even in that position they're going to be able to get the place differential you need. There are better cars, in my opinion, one of which I'll talk about here in a little bit. I just, as much as I love Roush Fenway, it pains me to say, it just looked off. If they start practicing in practice 2 and happy hour better than what they look like in qualifying, then sure. But right now they don't look fast.
It might be kind of confusing for everyone because, over the past few weeks we've kind of been talking about how Roush Fenway were bringing their best and fastest cars to the track and how everyone should kind of play them. But, you also got to think about how they didn't make the chase. So they're not really fighting for anything. They're kind of just trying to gear up for next year. As a lot of these teams are. But I kind of coming from a Trevor Bain fan, and Roush Fenway is my favorite racing team. I mean, I'm kind of right there with Poppa. I just kind of feel like Biffle's going to be a great place differential play if he can get up there. But the Roush Fenway cars just seem to be a tick off from everyone else. I mean, they just definitely are not on the same page as the RCR guys. I mean, and those are guys they should be running with. I feel like they're kind of in that third tier this week, and it's going to be hard for them to fight out of that because Martin Truex Jr. is going to be, or whoever we see the leader being, is going to put so many guys a lap down early because this is the kind of track where there can be a long green flag run to start off. So if your car's not right at the start of the race, it can get really, really bad for you really, really early. So that's really my only concern with Greg Biffle. I feel like every time it looks too good to be true, it usually is. So I'm kind of going to look at that 30-second starting spot with caution because I've been excited about this kind of starting spot in the past, and it hasn't been something that's paid off. But I definitely I like what you're looking at, Jamie, and hopefully it can pay off for us because I really want Roush to have a good run.
Yeah, Liehr, the Biffle argument is great, and if he can stay on the lead lap, that's the difference, and that's the thing that I think we're talking about. And somebody I'm not worried about staying on the lead lap is someone that feels the need for speed, and that is, I haven't got to talk about Maverick in a while. We're busting out some Austin Dillon at 8,200. I know it's a little bit more expensive than what we want in a value play, but when you hear that the boy qualified 29th, he has only finished outside of the teens here once, and that start would have netted you +7 place differential. If he finishes in the teens or better here, like he has, he will be a must-own. If he goes top 15 or top 10, and you don't have him on your lineup, you are going to crash and burn. Huh? See what I did there? I'm on a Maverick kick. For those of you that weren't paying attention to qualifying, the only reason this car is down so low is because he slid it into the wall in practice and they had to switch to a backup car, and the backup car wasn't completely set up for qualifying in time. They were worried about getting it through inspection and everything else. They were lucky to just get it out there to turn some laps. I think that this car is a top 15 car for sure, and I think there are a lot of DFS players that are coming over from football that are going to be playing on Sunday as well. And I don't think that they're going to be smart enough to understand place differential points or to understand what Austin Dillon can offer you for his price tag. I think he and Chris Buescher starting 28th are great place differential plays. I think Maverick is going to turn on the afterburners and take you to a win this week, value-wise. Plus, he's sporting a gorgeous car in that sweet spicy pumpkins Cheerio. Adrian, what are your thoughts, bud?
After Poppa took the pun I was going to make.
You had other puns.
I'm not going to let him have credit for that one. I came up with that one, with that gorgeous paint scheme for Austin Dillon. But I'm definitely loving the Austin Dillon play, guys. I mean, he's definitely going to spice the racing up on Sunday in that pumpkin spice car. And I look for him finishing the top 15, just like Poppa said. The guy has, obviously gotten off to a rough start this weekend. But there's nothing that team, can't recover from. Obviously, they're a strong enough team to rally and make the chase. So I don't see anything that's going to stop this team from finishing inside the top 15. And they're looking for a top 10. They're not looking for a top 15. So keep your expectations high with Austin Dillon. Hopefully his ownership percentage won't be too high. I think a lot of people will actually play him because they'll see the chase guy starting so low. But you know what? Austin Dillon is someone that you just kind of plug and play. And, Austin Dillon, Casey Kane, and Alex Bowman, I love those middle-tier value guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about the Dillon play this week as well. Getting a chase guy starting that late. And it's just one of those things where they're 13th in the chase right now, and Richard Childress is going to do his best to give him what he can to help them increase their spots there in the chase because we're in the first stage, so there's only three races left in this first stage, and he's in that first cut line right now, so he needs to have that great finish in order for them to advance to the next step. So I think they're going to be bold. They're going to be bold in their strategy this week and what they do because they're going to want to get up there. They're going to want to get up there in the front. So, and he definitely doesn't want, his grandfather to, after the race, get into his face and say, you didn't get a top 10 because now you're going to be flying a plane out of rubber dog shit out of Hong Kong. So play Austin Dillon this week.
Wow, dude. Nice Top Gun quote there, Liehr. Your ego's ready, checks your body can't cash. That was one I would have went with. Now it's time for that. We've wrapped up value. It's time for going to the garage. Adrian, who are you sending to the garage this week, buddy?
Speaking of writing checks that may or may not be able to be cashed, my going to the garage play is a little bit out there, and some may, if they're just listening to the show, they might think that Jamie Liehr is talking. I'm taking Carl Edwards, your pole sitter, as my going to the garage play, guys. The guy is just too expensive, in my opinion. At 9,800, you basically need the guy to lead, somewhere around 50 or so laps, and then still, run up in the top 5. And then on top of that, you have to hope that the guys that pass him for the lead don't exceed the lap total that he had. And honestly, 9,800, this is just not something, it's just too many risks to start the race, in my opinion. I think his ownership will be over 40%. And that goes along with the same thing that's been happening the past few weeks. And we've told you to play the pole sitter, and that's right in most situations, but it generally depends on who's starting on the pole and who's starting right behind the pole sitter. And sadly for Carl Edwards, the guy that's starting right behind him is Martin Truex Jr., who's been the hottest driver in NASCAR. Carl Edwards has started first in 2 of the last 3 races at New Hampshire. He's only managed to lead 19 laps in both of those 2 races. So 19 apiece in those 2 races. So, nothing that's going to help you in your fantasy teams. Due to no place differential, like I said, he'll need to lead the laps. The sad part is, due to Carl Edwards having no place differential, like I referred to, it's kind of going to make him to where he has to lead a lot of laps. If you look at the race at New Hampshire where Carl Edwards has led the most laps, that race is 2008. He led 61 laps. Still, maybe not going to pay off the fantasy value, but here's where you really realize that Carl Edwards is not someone you want to play from the first starting position. He has 24 starts at New Hampshire. If you take away the race that he led 61 laps, and you add up the laps led in all 23 races, the total number of laps led is 40. That is absolutely poor. If you're looking at a guy at 9,800 who you have to have lead laps because he can absolutely have no place differential. Simply put, Martin Truex Jr. is going to take the lead from Carl Edwards within the first 15 laps of the race. Carl's going to be hanging on at the end of the top 10 all day long. I'm going to be looking pretty because he's going to be over 40% owned, and I just hope that our viewers don't play. I'm going to have some exposure, but it's definitely not somewhere I'm going to just absolutely start my teams.
Yeah, man, I couldn't have said it any better myself. I'm definitely not playing. I'm not going to be playing Carl Edwards whatsoever. I can't do it. Like you said, 2 starts from the pole in the last 3 races. They don't have that team just hasn't been looking right as of late. And, obviously he likes to run this track and qualify real well, but he just doesn't really like to finish real well here. So, and at $9,800, I'd rather spend my money somewhere else. I'd go Martin Truex and spend the $600 all day, every day. So, I can't do it.
All right, you all know my man crush for Carl Edwards, and cousin Carl's a part of the family, dude, and makes me a lot of money in daily fantasy. But this is not a week where he's going to make you money. And the only way he will make you money is for him to literally do something he's never done on this track before. Adrian took all my statistics and all my reasons of why I would also not play cousin Carl this week, and unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Adrian's right. You just don't want to play Kyle this week.
Not Kyle. You probably want to play a little bit of Kyle.
Yeah, you want to play a little bit of Kyle. Carl, you do not want to play. It's just, guys, he likes to qualify and not win. He'll place top 10 probably, and that'll be it. And that's not enough for $9,800.
I'm going to throw the Rain Man out there, and here's kind of a crazy thing, but so the 2 races that he started first on the pole, and last out of 3, he led 19 laps. I'm just going to throw this out there, my Rain Man pick, but I think he's going to finish 19th this week.
I would say he's going to lead 19 laps.
Really good weekend for the boy from Missouri.
I hope it's a better weekend for these boys from Missouri. But
watch it.
All right, Liehr, who do you have going to the garage this week, buddy?
Going to the garage pick for me, boys. I'm going to roll with the number 31 Caterpillar vehicle, Ryan Newman. Newman is ready for the season to be over, basically. He's, since he's not going to be making the chase, he's starting to think about his 2017 season. But he's just one of those guys who just doesn't seem to get the dominator points and finish, with large fantasy numbers overall. He scored 25, 4, 48, and 21 fantasy points out of his last 4 races. At $8,000, I would just rather spend my money on someone who's, can get those points either spend up or spend down. But he starts 3rd this week, which is just a way, way over qualification for him. And he's just going to get eaten alive by the rest of the top 10 drivers there. But the crazy part about this is he actually has some decent history here at Loudon. But with 29 starts, he's got 7 top 5s, 18 top 10s, 3 wins. He's actually started on the pole here 7 times, which is crazy. In July, he started here 25th and finished 7th, which was a good place, made him a good place differential guy. But this week, with where he's starting at and where he'll finish, Plus, you throw in his salary in there. I'm just unable to get him into lineups and truly calculate that he'll pay off this weekend. So I'm off the Ryan Newman this weekend. Hopefully all the other DFS players are going to be playing him because I'm not, and I'll be laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people are going to look at his amazing point totals from last race and try to chase it. I don't think they're going to get it, and I think you're right to send him to the garage. I just think that, plus you always have the fact that he and Tony can get into it again, and like they're still pissy pandas with each other.
They talked it out.
Oh yeah, right, dude. And I trust Tony Stewart's temper. Like, right, like no, come on, dude. All it takes is him breathing on Tony Stewart's car wrong, and they're gonna take each other into the wall. Love the fade, dude. Adrian, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you, Jamie. It's just you just don't play Ryan Newman in that spot, starting third. I mean, just where's he going to get his points from? Is my only question. If you're going to play Ryan Newman, tell me where you think he's going to get his points from. I mean, simply put, at this price tag, if you're actually competent DFS player, you're playing the likes of Austin Dillon and Casey Kane and Alex Bowman. I mean, all the guys that we've mentioned already, Greg Biffle. You just don't play guys like Ryan Newman starting in the third position. You look at the starting grid, and Stu Obvious must not play. He has great track history here, which, like Jamie said, hopefully is going to attract people to him. And he was actually my guy you picked the last time we were here in New Hampshire, which, like Jamie said, paid off. But it's not going to pay off this week. Even if he finishes, 10th, he still, barely fights a muster over 30 points. There's just no way for Ryan Newman.
Well,
and Poppa, what you were saying too about, Tony Stewart and Newman getting into it. Well, like Adrian was saying, I mean, basically, with him, with this type of track, with it bumping and banging, I mean, it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So, no, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Now, another guy that I think is an obvious play that you want to avoid is my going to the garage pick. And the reason why I want to talk about him is because the Harvick or the Truex Johnson or whichever way you're going about it, right, this week, you're going to look down for value and you're going to see Michael McDowell and you're going to see that car looks good in the 20th position, but it's an overqualification. I love his price. I love the rat rod paint scheme is freaking tight. It looks gorgeous. And his interview was awesome. I could wish nothing but greatness for him and his team, and I hope that they do well. The problem is he's going to fall back here, and any spots back are negative points that you cannot afford to have with a car that's going to finish in the 20s to 30s range. You want a car that's going forward there if you're going to save up. If you think that he's in a top 20 car, then by all means play him and play him at that salary, and you would be a fool to not play him at that salary. I don't think that's a top 20 car, though, and I, therefore, cannot play him at that salary for any reason. Your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree. It's just not a place that I find myself reaching down. Mike McDowell has actually been, at the, right at the cusp of being above all those guys who are, under the 30th position. Most of the time, he's one of the only guys that can break out of the top 30 and move into the 20s. So I like the speed that Michael McDowell and that team have. And I think Michael is a great driver who performs, well above his equipment. He's just, I don't think that even they're a top 25 car. I think they could be a top 30 car. But like you said, if they're going to get that minus, points differential, it's going to kill you, especially if you're spinning down like that. I mean, at that price tag, I like playing guys like, if you look at Matt Benedetto and Michael Annett, Regan Smith lately. Regan Smith is the awesome Thomas the Train Paint scheme that I know Jamie's son loves. So, I mean, these are the guys that I'm kind of going to play. I'm not going to play guys, that can go negative like Michael McDowell.
I love Michael McDowell. I've kind of over the season grown to really like him quite a bit. With the Levine family racing there, they just don't have the funding to give him the equipment that he needs to, truly make a mark on the NASCAR circuit. But at least he gets an opportunity every single week to prove the naysayers wrong. And the other crazy part is they always get the crazy paint schemes because they need the funding to, make it happen week after week, especially last week with that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Donatello vehicle. Unfortunately, tire went down for him on the right front there. But, again, I know he's real cheap this week at 5,100. but I just can't. I can't do it starting at the 20th position because I really don't think he's going to go any higher than that, and he's only got one direction to go. And with it being Loudon, yeah, we're going to have some wrecks and obviously some cautions, and some people go out of the race, which that's going to bump people up when it comes to place differential. But with him qualifying so high, he needs to have so many things happen for him to really pay off. Even though it's at that $5,100, he would have to stay exactly where he is to get the points or move up a little bit. But the slim chance to none that happens, and Slim just walked out the door. So
I wanted him to qualify poorly. I really for 30 plus qualifying and didn't get it. And so he had to become my going to the garage pick, unfortunately. Now that we wrapped up the going to the garage segment, it's time for our segment that we're really proud of, where we put together a lineup. Now remember, this isn't to give you a lineup to run in the contest. It's to show you the proper process of people that play NASCAR DFS on a regular basis, going through the salaries, what we have as the race vision, and showing you how you should compile a proper NASCAR lineup. With that said, boys, I think we're all in agreement. So we're starting off here with one Martin Truex Jr., correct?
Yes.
I was going to say Kurt Busch. I'm just kidding.
The Kurt Busch
like
play.
to play jokes sometimes. The Kurt Busch play is us, eh?
Yeah, I contemplated putting him in the garage, honestly.
I think he'll put himself there.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, guys, where we go with the second pick? Let's let Adrian pick it, since he was
just because I honestly feel that good about it. I'm not just blowing smoke. I really want Alex Bowman on this team.
Wow, guys, putting the money where the mouth is, where his mouth is, and wants Alex Bowman. 7,700. That leaves 79.75 remaining. Liehr, you got a pick of a driver.
Hopefully AW won't spit out any change, but I'm going to roll with. I really like him, guys, and I think that he's just going to come to play this week. And I know he's one of the most expensive drivers out there, but they have to do something this week. And I know that their team with their that they've been, they struggled a ton last week, and it cost a lot of money, and it hamstrings your lineups. But I really think that Kevin Harvick and those guys are going to come to show this week because they don't want to go down. They don't want to go down any further in the chase. They want to get up there. And Kevin Harvick is a stud. He's always been a stud.
All right, man. That leaves 10,700.
I mean, I kind of have to agree. I want to touch on the Harvick play a little bit. I definitely agree. I don't think that anything has changed from last week. At the start of the race, obviously everyone was scared of Harvick and thought that he was the fastest car. I don't think anything has changed this week. They've really struggled to get the weekend started, but that team is going to run that car through simulation, runs, and they're going to get that thing right through practice on Saturday and into Saturday night. And he is so expensive, but he's starting so far back there. I just felt, it's a crime if we don't talk about Kevin Harvick because he is that elite driver. But it will hamstring your lineups playing him and Truex. But I definitely think that if you can find the right value, guys, it's definitely the place you want to go.
Yep, and so since we have Truex, Harvick, and Bowman, at least $7,066 remaining, I think the plays here, in all honesty, are the ones we've talked about. You're going to want to go Biffle, Blaney, like Busher. Like, I don't know, like, we're going to be a little shy on salary being able to do that, but.
Yeah.
I'm definitely Biffle.
It's really a tough call.
I want Blaney, though.
I like the Biffle play for sure.
If we go
honestly,
Biffle, Blaney.
At this price tag, and I know he overqualified, but I really like Casey Kane. But if I'm in this point, guys, I don't see a way that we're not going to play the guy we talked about who had such a poor qualifying effort. We could easily fit Austin Dillon on this team.
That we can. So you can take off Blaney and Biffle. I was just showing them that build. Throw Austin Dillon on this team. That'll be $6,500 per remaining. Where do you guys want to go next?
I know we didn't really talk about him that much, but based off of what the salary that we have left and who's left on the board, I'm throwing out the AJ play this week, boys. I really like him. He's a sneaky play. I know he qualified 17th, I believe. Was it 17th?
Yep.
Yeah, 17th. He qualified 17th, and dude, they were running with that first practice in the top 7, top 5. Just look for tomorrow and see where he's going to be running at with the practices and everything. But this kind of track equates really well with his type of style of racing. And I really do like AJ Allmendinger this week.
I don't hate the AJ Allmendinger play. He didn't really show me enough last time they were here. So to make it to where I'm really going to jump out and play him, though, in my opinion.
I don't mind the Allmendinger play either. The problem is when you put Harvick, Truex on a team, you really have to make a decision. And if you put Dillon on the team, you really shouldn't put Alex Bowman on that team. And if you put Alex Bowman on the team, you really shouldn't put Austin Dillon. Because what it does is it puts you in a whole nother sub-tier of drivers and eliminates the Bains, the Biffles, the Bushers, the Blaneys, which are dynamite plays this week. And I don't like where this has put our salary just to get another. You see what I'm saying, guys?
I gotcha.
I don't know, though. So we have, if we leave those 4, we have 6,500 left. That would leave. Well, the problem is he's all right, so we plug Dinger on there, right? That leaves us 6,700. That's Stenhouse, Danica, Menard, Amarola on down. Your $200 shy.
Well, for me, with those guys that we have left, I'm playing a guy around 5K like Regan Smith or someone like that. And then I'm going to have all the money left over. At that point, I'm going to just put Murray on down.
Well, that's kind of my point, right? So then you have all this extra money, so you don't want to be on Dinger. You want to spend up there, is my point.
Yeah, I think you definitely need to spend up, because if you go with Dinger, it kind of locks you into where you have to pick a driver at the same level as Dinger, and it's just
exactly
kind of which one you think is going to
Whereas
work out.
if I buy down on Regan Smith, I can literally choose between Blaney, Kane, or Biffle, which are the 3, or even if I'm going for a crazy place differential play and want to play Busher there with Austin Dillon, I can. Right? I have those options opened up to me that I did not.
I like it. Yeah, so take the Dinger out.
Yeah. We can kind of talk about what is needed, Poppa, for a driver of that cost. You basically need over 20 points, correct?
For what? How much were we talking about for the 52?
Yeah. For the Regan Smith play.
Yeah, if Regan
looking for about 20.
If Regan
in his
can go out
last
there
4 races, he has 26 points, 23 points, 39 points, and 11 points.
Right, we're trying to fade the 11.
All top 30s.
And if we get above 30 points, you're golden with those guys. Since I kind of overrode you guys and threw the Regan Smith play on there to make this happen, which of the remaining drivers of Jamie Mack, Blaney, Kane, Biffle, Boyer, Busher do you guys want to put on this team to round it out?
For me, I'm going to let Jamie make the decision, and I think he's going to go with Biffle. But for me, the top 3 that I would go with if I was left with 7,800, Blaney is number 1, Biffle would be number 2, and Kane would be number 3.
Nice. I was going to go Blaney, Busher, Kane, Biffle, but that's mine. I just like Busher's place differential, man. That's sexy. And they have to run near the front to get back into.
I really like Kane over qualified. I just love the speed that guy.
Fair enough. My worry is his overqualification. I have that as being he can be a top 10 car. I'm just worried that he's going to lose me a couple points.
Jamie, where are you going here, bud? Are you going with your Biffle play?
Yeah, if it was my choice, I definitely would go with Biffle. But I am also kind of torn too with the Casey Kane play, just because based off of what happened.
I'm wearing a hat.
Yeah, and the crazy part is I used to work for that company too, so maybe that's a sign. But
all right, guys. Well, since this is my money on the line with this team, I'm overriding both of you and putting Blaney on it. I agree. Heads that. If you guys want to play those variations, go ahead and do it. So I've got Truex, Bowman, Harvick, Dillon, Smith, and Blaney. You will see this team in the 12K lug nut and can compete against it. With that said, I think we wrapped up another week of the Rubbin' His Racing Daily Fantasy NASCAR Show. Remember to like, share, favorite, subscribe. Adrian, you got anything to add before we head out? Thumbs up.
I'm just really glad we got the band back together, guys. It's been a 2-day show the past 2 weeks. I'm glad we're all here. I really appreciate everyone watching. Your support means the world to us. We do this for you guys. And we're just really excited to bring you these picks, and we definitely think they're going to be the picks you need to make money this weekend. So good luck.
Excited to watch the race this weekend. Last time they were at Loudon, I was in Colorado getting engaged, so I didn't get to watch any of the race. So definitely excited to watch this week and wish my boy MTJ all the luck in the world to take it home again this week. But again, don't forget, viewers, if Greg Biffle gets top 10 and you like and you comment on the show, you have a chance to win that signed diecast car. So good luck this weekend, everybody.
Jimmy's only saying that because if Biffle gets a top 10, he'll be able to buy all the Greg Biffle diecasts he needs.
Boom.
Right. All right, guys. It's another great show, another great weekend. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let's win some money this week, guys. Let's take it down. We're gonna get a qualifier, get to the final.
Also, if you like the show, you're a business owner, and you would like to get a little bit of your business out there, let us know. We're always up for some marketing, so you can hit us up on Twitter and just send us a direct message.
Have a good one, guys. Peace.
Have a great week, everybody.